Hey everybody, it is great to be back here with you for our trading ThinkScript class. My name is Mike Fairborn, and folks, we have a couple of scripts to take a look at today. Now, we talked about one we're going to build from the swing trading class on Tuesday. So we built that in terms of a MACD hook, a scan, which is shows looks for really, really some of that really strong strength and momentum in a stock. But then it also finds us right when that MACD begins to hook. So I want to talk about that one today. And also I want to talk about a really popular one out there on the internet referred to as Wolf Waves by Mobius, which is a really cool indicator. It ties in specific resistance levels within a trend, sideways, up or down, and finds at least three key pivot points. Now, those pivot points are resistance levels, and it will find resistance levels on the chart. I want to show you this specifically. It also finds support levels, and fascinatingly, it draws trend lines in between them. So it's just a good tool to have on the chart. Did expand that into a scan here today. And so we'll be looking at stocks that have broken above some of those wolf wave levels, creating a wolf wave, which is breaking above those pivot points on the upside specifically. So a big welcome to each of you today, Rocky, Robert, Austin, Michael, Jenny, Michelle. Yes, it is that time again, Jenny. It is the time for ThinkScript, your favorite class. I'm kidding. No, but it's a fun class. Got a couple of scripts. We're going to share those today as we get into this. And folks, I am joined in the chat by good friend and colleague of mine, Kevin Horner, who's here each and every week. Appreciate Kevin being here with us. Kev's got his link there. The Kevin Horner. Kidding, no, it's just Kevin Horner CS. Many people do call him the Kevin Horner, though. Does teach our great trading stuff in the morning, trading classes. But Kevin Horner CS on X. My name is Mike Fairborn CS, folks. And there we go. Did I say Wolf Wave? I did say that. And welcome to you, Riceberg, as well as Cecil and others here. Yes, yeah, should be interesting. And I think you guys I hope you like it. I really do. I think it's useful. I think it's going to be fascinating to see. I've never seen an indicator aside from the price channel, but that gets really kind of messy with a lot of lines and just oftentimes just a single line is looking at. This is getting multiple lines, resistance and support. So it's a really cool indicator. Let's dive on into it though. Welcome to you, Rojo. As I mentioned, Jenny Michelle and Sharon. All right, on that. Let's hit it with some disclosures first. All right. The information here is for general information purposes only and should not be considered an individualized recommendation or personalized investment advice. Paid for my software application for education purposes only. Backtesting results, which we do look at in this class oftentimes. They are presented are hypothetical, and there's no guarantee the same strategy implemented today would produce similar results going forward. Investing does involve risk, including for some products, more than your initial investment. Now, past performance of any security strategy does not guarantee future results or success. A look at our futures, and there you have it. Disclosures. Futures options trading does involve substantial risk. It's not suitable for all investors. Now, we just look at the charts here, though. We don't go any further than that right there. So we'll keep it with the charts only. And let's get going now, folks. I have to take a look at the S&P 500. It's down 56 right now. So we did see a bit of a pullback. You can see my projected move was off of a couple of days ago. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work. I'm gonna just pull this one. If there was a pattern, a price pattern there, like a flag pattern, I had to adjust it down. That's right. It didn't unfold as we had looked at previously. We're just, speculating, looking at it. But there you go now. Will we get a bounce here or not? The one thing we have to say is prices are coming down, folks, is that there is a support level there somewhere that we could see. And I think you guys can see it just as easily as I can't right there. I'm just going to point it out though. Right there at 7,600 prior highs. Now, sometimes you will come down and bounce off that level. That's not uncommon at all to see a bounce off of this level, especially after a breakup, a pullback, bounce follow through. That's the question mark. That's what we're wondering here. Will we get that or not? Um, I wanted to say, we'll look at a few things, but first off, it's good to look at the markets in general just to get a general sense, risk on, risk off. Do we think the markets are looking strong here? Could there be a bounce? This kind of information we're looking at to determine some of the think scripts that we might be using as well. Now, just a quick note here. You can see this. I'm going to pull this guy down a little bit and just do one of these things. Just draw a line right through there because I think that might be a very, well, we've had a lot of support. Jeez, if it's that thick, it will be support if it's that thick because it catches everything. How about right there? Here, 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 and we're right there again. And you'll notice, even though we are down 232, right there, we have come here a couple of times. I mean, this is the second time. I mean, we bounced off that bottom a little bit today, right at that 29K. It's a big number, but there we are. Will we get a bounce here or not? It's an interesting question to kind of consider. I wanted to do this too. Real quick while we're at it, I did want to take a look at whether it be the NQ or the S&P 500, fine, either way. But I wanted to look at seasonality just so we could see seasonally, where does that summer rally? Is there any action in here where we might get a bounce? Click on my wheel to make it percentage related so we can see it based on the prior years. Gosh, not really. I would say this with the NQ, at least over the past 5 years, it doesn't tend to dip as much as the, let's say, the S&P 500. You can see the S&P 500, more of a pronounced downward trend. There is a little bit of a dip here. I don't want to get too sort of meticulous on this, but I mean, you can see the dip right there, right there. It dips and then it comes up maybe into the final week of the month for a high. These are interesting because a lot of times they will go right to that date. Now, looking back at a 10-year, getting a little bit more data in there, you can see right over there, right, as we're seeing this. Yeah, there tends to be a little bit of a up, down, up, down, up, down, and then right there, really to the first week, about September 4th or so, we tend to get a top, and then it will dip a little bit mid-September, and then you might dip. Okay, but things can happen, any year, could clearly be different from the next, but on average, and that's an important thing to note, it still is on average. And so when you look at this, 10 years, this is the average price movement. And so that can be somewhat helpful. Now I've got to flip these back, otherwise we'll be stuck at percentages the whole time. All right, there we go. Now, you guys, a quick note too on this. I just want to highlight this point because I like to hit some areas too that I think can help us get a sense of, what could help to be sort of a tailwind for the market here and things to be looking at. Now, one of them that could be helpful, uh, and these are all going down. So, I mean, you'd be looking at these going down to assist the markets going potentially higher. Oil. Can oil dip here? Oil's up, and so too are the markets. Excuse me, the markets are down. So there's that inverse correlation. I don't know if we're going to get a resistance level here. I did want to draw this in because, yeah, there is a little bit of that right there. Ding, ding, ding. And then finally, right there. We don't know if we'll break above it, but if it does, it could put more strain on the markets. That's a big one. That's one. So look at oil potentially going down. Another one, and I sent out just a little tweet on this last night, kind of late, but that was the dollar. The dollar going down can help to fuel prices going up as well. You can see that's a pretty big move on the dollar, and we did break pretty sharply. And I don't know if we'll get one of these, like it comes up here, comes over, and then down again in an approximate size range. But this is another one to keep an eye on that you'd be looking for. If the dollar dips, that could be a kind of a big move. And then lastly, the VIX. The VIX dipping, and the VIX is up. But if the VIX dips, well, that could be something to be mindful of too. It is actually at 10-year low levels. This was the post I'd sent out last night on it, right there. Yeah, the volatility index right there. And I just mentioned here, it's at historically low levels this is actually a 10-year weekly chart. I didn't quite capture 10 years of data, but you can see a lot of times it might drag down here for a while, but sometimes it'll bounce off that level too. So it does kind of depend. I'll put this in the chat if you are inclined to take a look at it. If you'd like to, it will be there. All right, Kevin, be sure to post yours in the chat as well. Got to have Kevin's in there too. Okay, so very good. Let's do this. So those three kind of coming down. could be of interest. The other thing too, I'm going to throw out one more because if you do look, hey, we've got the futures disclosures in there. We're going to take a look at it. This is the 10Y. So, you know what's been up is the well, this is the yield, treasury yield, right? And we've seen prices go up here. It's forward slash 10Y, by the way. But I mean, if we see the yields come down, 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 this could also be a benefit to the market. But those four things, and they're all going down. So just want to park that in your minds. All right, let's do this. We want to go ahead and just hit this. I wanted to state this because I think many of you are looking at the markets and just show you the stuff I'm looking at. Just kind of some broad reads out there of what might be unfolding. But now we're going to switch back into our discussion that we had on the MACD hook from the swing trade class. And I didn't have quite the chance to get it set up during that session. But all it is simply what we were looking at is the MACD. Now, the MACD is a signal amplifier. I go into more detail on this on the swing trade class, but uh, this is where the scan might come in handy. It's looking at, I'm just looking at the two MACD lines, right? So the 12 and the 26, are they converging or are they diverging? So just imagine those on the chart. We could put them on if we wanted to, but that's what we're looking at here. That is what we're looking for. All right, and I'm going to make this a little thicker, sure. We'll just keep it that color though. There you have it. That is our divergence line of the MACD. In other words, is the 12 outpacing the 26 right here? If it is, that's going to move up faster, and it's a signal amplifier. So it picks up on momentum. It's very, very sensitive to a momentum move. And what we're really looking for here is something like this. The MACD dips. I just spotted one right there. The MACD dips. I'm still on the SPX. The MACD dips, and then it spikes up. But you see that dip? That's referred to as the MACD hook, like this. So you can just throw it on here. There is no fancy stuff on this MACD. I'll tell you that. No histogram, no average line, just simply the convergence and divergence of the two exponential moving averages that we have right over here. I put that average as a 1 just so I didn't have to look at it to even make it even easier to see. Okay, now with the MACD hook though, one key important point has to be there, and you've got to have the strength, momentum to get above the zero line, zero right there. That purple line, you got to be above it. So we're not looking at hooks below that level. We're looking at hooks above there. So we've got maybe a stronger upward move, a trend, and then you get the hook. So I've gone ahead and just put it over here, added it to dynamic watch list. Let's put it in right now, the watch list. So if I just go to MACD, there it is. Remember, if you save this as a scan, boom, you get it right there for you, right there at your fingertips. I'm going to link this up, and that's the beauty of it, to be honest with you. The beauty is that you don't have to keep coming in here over and over and over and just go and scan back and forth, pulling it up, da 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 da. It's right there at your fingertips. It's a really, really cool tool for those people that do use the MACD anyhow. It could be a fascinating one to look at. Let's go through some of these and just take a look at them. You can see them here. Here's ADP. Oh, put it on our chart. There we go. I'm going to actually take these guys off for just a sec. And we'll just keep the MACD 2-line on so you can see it. Okay, do you see the hook? Do you see the change in momentum? What do we have? Rule number 1. Well, you got to be above the zero line. Rule number 2, and this is, you got to have, you got to go down on the MACD and then back up. That's the hook right there. You're kind of trying to get just the real initial sensitivity. And when did you get this actually? You got it right over here, right here. Let me just show you right when it came early. Look at that. See it? You got it early. There was sensitivity. And a lot of times you don't get a Cahold, and sometimes you will get a Cahold to close above the high to low day, but you won't get the hook. So it's fascinating to see. And this has been, I mean, look at this one. You guys like that hook? That's a hook right there. Right there is when we began to turn. Oof, see, it kind of got it early. Now this was an overlap with the Cahold, but not in every case. This particular scan over here looks at the last 2, 3 days. I did a look back so you guys can pull it up and just, scan through and see what you find on here. But it is really sensitive, and you're going to find some stronger type moves. Like, for example, I was looking down here at some of the farms. So here's a farm. Pharmaceuticals had been moving. BMY, right? There's a hook. And I didn't pull this up even on that bull flag search that we had. Some of these weren't coming up, but the MACD hook was showing them. So you got your above the zero line, the hook, and also it's trying to look for just strength of the prior highs. Are you getting a trend? In other words, like over here, you're getting a higher move on the MACD too. Like this would have been a fantastic hook right there, right there. This too, a very good hook to pick up on these mini sort of bull flag patterns. And that one there, obviously, it hasn't broken out. In fact, today it's down, but it's one to maybe watch because maybe it could reverse and go higher. Last one, Lilly. Well, not the last one, but just a couple more. Lilly, same thing. Are we above the zero line? Absolutely, we are. Make no mistake about it. We are above the zero. Did we get a hook? Absolutely. When did we get the hook? Right there. The great thing is to pick that up. And if you're getting that hook, maybe there's enough momentum strength to get us to break out. And we did. So longer term, if I look at this guy, I could say this. I could say, here's our move coming up. That's a longer term flag. In fact, I would label this something like even a weekly flag pattern. Sometimes you can see them better on a weekly basis. Click over here. Absolutely. See the move? Right there. Now we're kind of powering through. Will it go up or not? Interesting. We're not sure, but this is a very, very flat, say that fast. Flat flag. Yeah. Uh, it's flat. Kind of like that Darvis box that Riceberg was talking about. Yes. The Darvis box. It's like that. This found it. The MACD hook did. It spotted it. It's fascinating. That is one. But hey, we've got the scan, which is nice. So what do we have now? We've got now. So look at this. We've got this over here. There's our hook right there. Now, ServiceNow, excuse me, this is a software company. Look at this right there, breaking above that high. Will it begin to continue or not? We don't know, but at least the software helped us to spot it. Now, think scripts aren't guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but as long as the data that's flowing through the platform is good, well, it's just a mathematical equation. So there you go. Let me share it with you. Hello to you, Janelle, and those of you just joining us as well. Great to have you. All right. And we're just taking a look at that MACD hook above the zero line, of course, and oftentimes it is a higher high on that MACD. Let's go into it right now, and I'll pull it up here for you. Let's load it. Or I can just share it, I guess. No, let's load it first. I guess I have to load it. MACD hook right there. And you guys have it. Now, keep in mind, just a couple of quick notes that we always point out too. Where you search does matter. It matters a lot. Routinely, we'll go, we might mix it up a little bit. NASDAQ 100, S&P 500. This is what this is. If you want to have a different list of stocks that have that MACD hook in it, you got to flip this. You got to change it because if you're looking at using a static scanner, which is exactly what this is a static, you have to run it minute by minute to get the update because once it scans, it's done. Okay. But over here, it updates. If a new one comes in, great. Every day to day, new stuff. One comes in, one comes off. You got it updated. It's really a nice feature here. That's one really excellent benefit of our scans over here. But yeah, it's only on the S&P 500. Let me share this right now. Share the scan query. And I'm going to show you where to put this as well. Let's go over here. Boom, right here. Oh, let's see. Okay, let me type this in. So let's see. MACD. I'll just note it. MACD hook, and there you have it. All right. So with that, want to make sure we're not losing anybody because people that are new need to know where to post this. So copy that link, come up top under setup, open shared items, paste it in there. I'm using Control V. I'm on a PC on my regular Mac. I use Command V, same thing, but just paste it in, hit preview, and then be sure, folks, don't name it this. It's too hard to find it to know what it is. Uh, but yeah, once you get this in here, click on it and then click on simply just import and boom, it's going to show up over here in the section for you. Right? Okay. Oh, I had my name. I didn't save it in there. That's okay. Anyhow, done. You guys like it? It's kind of interesting. You can have other things in here too. Of course, you can add these columns over here because look at this. You can make this a lot bigger than it used to be, like the side column for more columns if you wanted it. That would be the gadget window, the watch list specifically. But this is so much easier than going, oh, what do we got over here? Well, we've got Jacob's solution. Well, let's go back over to the charts and click on J now. And that's one way to do it. Or you can just go down here on your scan. There's J. You click on J and you got it. And there's J. Okay. That's it right there. See the hook? It bounced up and it wasn't a huge bounce, but is it a big enough bounce to see it, to see it, to see it, to see it? Remember, it's trying to pick up on that real strong momentum. And I mean, it's a sensitivity indicator, as I mentioned in the swing trade class. It is well, it's a signal magnifier that's also used in like radio frequency. So radio towers will use it. It's a fascinating sort of, you could say sort of technology behind it. But being above the zero line helps us try to spot momentum, and then we're looking at additional momentum as we're getting those hooks coming up. All right, folks. By the way, if you are getting value out of this discussion, we're going to go into the Wolf Waves right now, kind of the key portion of our discussion here. But what I wanted to do was go ahead and, yeah, like it if you are getting value. You got to get value first, but that is our objective here. And also, we'd love to have you subscribe to our Trader Talk channel. I don't know if we're at 210,000 yet. We're getting dang close, but if you're not already up on board, and I know many of you already are, but we're at 209,000. It's a great place to get a lot of excellent content. The playlists are excellent. Um, there you go. You got Kev right there, building a stock portfolio. Great stuff that you can see down through here as well. Yeah. So be sure to subscribe. Should say it right over there. All right, let's do this. Let's go in now and go back to our discussion. And we're going to let that MACD, it's a MACD hook for really momentum. And I would say within that momentum, we're really able to spot, aren't we? Some of these shorter term bull flags that might be part of really just a longer term flag. We've seen a ton of these in here. I mean, we had a lot. There are quite a few. Just looking at, I mean, we can select anything off this group. How about the one right below it? Oh, well, that's even bigger, but you can see maybe the flag pattern there. Maybe it's a bigger move. But the point being, it's momentum based and is trying to capture that bounce right before the move takes place. Okay, now, having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and just mute my two-line MACD. It's not the MACD hook, right? It's just the MACD two line. We are using the scan to help us identify the hook. But if I was to add that MACD hook, you just go over here. It's the two line MACD. A lot of bells and whistles over here. Not all these make sense to me, by the way. If you just stop and really think about it, the histogram's got some interesting elements, but I'm really just looking at what the MACD does, what it's actually known for, those two sensitivity lines. And that's where you'll find it. Anyhow, we talked about that at the beginning. Let's get rolling off into the other one. Now, this is going to be Wolf Waves by Mobius. Very popular indicator. As always, I want to make sure you guys have these when they come out. And I try to adapt them a little bit. That's kind of the contribution I make in terms of a scan. I think most of these, the vast majority, are just indicators. And there are different ways to do it, but I was looking at the most bullish way today, and I'm going to talk about it right now. So this is what we've got. Oh, let's go to a daily here. Okay, so oftentimes though, as I read this indicator, it's being utilized on these three time frames. It's like the 2 minute is really short term. Uh, there's a lot of short term traders out there. I thought it was fascinating on the daily, to be honest with you. The 2 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15. Now, as you guys know, and many of you guys do something similar to this, I've got the daily 5 and the 10. dot, dot, dot on my grid chart. And I can line these up because I think they are interesting if you're getting a break on one and then a break on another and a break on another. I mean, could be used intraday as well, right? Just to see additional strength. I want to look into that specifically as we go through it. Now, this JK, even though the hook was the one that found it, oh, let me share it too. Let's just share it. Again, think scripts, not guaranteed times for accuracy. We talked about that, but yeah, right here, I'm going to share it with you. And you can just see over here, Wolf Waves by Mobius. It's been out for a little bit. I hadn't seen it myself, but it's very, very popular. And I'm going to share it with you right now. Now, remember, you've got to go to the right library, though, to pull this up. And that's going to be the chart library. So as I put this into the box here for you guys to check out, there it is, Wolf Waves. I'm going to make a note of it. It's an indicator, the one we're sharing now. There, we're looking at it. That's the indicator. So with it being an indicator, we have to just go into our edit studies here. Wait, yeah, edit studies. Yeah, go in here and then pull it up here once we import it. Now, remember, when you import it, make sure you name it exactly what it is so you know exactly how to find it. Okay, let's talk about it first. And isn't this cool? It draws in here, it spots, it finds resistance levels on the chart and support levels too. It's looking for key pivot points. There's some coding in there behind the scenes that does it. Um, oh, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin, I just noticed that question in the chat from Shannon. Thank you very much. He's posted that that class in there that we did on the swing trade class. Yeah, we went into more detail on it. We actually went into more greater detail and found some others, but there you have it. But there you go. Okay, so you can see up top clearly this is what's going on. We got resistance levels. We've got three of them. Okay. And oldest is the R3, 2, and 1. And same thing on support. 3, 2, 1. Fascinating. They are interesting, big reversal points that is within the code that he's identified here. And it draws these lines across here. Now, we just barely broke above one, but it is fascinating. We've talked about this before, but support resistance, really interesting a lot of times how you'll come right back down. Look at that. I mean, that was the prior high. And look how we just held that range. Just held it. I mean, we jumped up above it, sold off the top, bought off the bottom. You know, it looks like it was a post-earnings rally, and here we are holding right at it off the bottom today, right? In terms of support. So when I was looking at this, the whole concept was this. Great to have. And let me say one more thing. You're getting these trend lines coming down too. And there can be trend line breaks as well. That might be the next step in terms of a scan because that is within the code and that can be achieved as well. Today, I looked at the next strongest point, which I thought was actually breaking the prior high. So they're breakouts. So identify that in a scan, shoot it out to us, and let us see companies that are breaking these, these resistance levels, the wolf waves themselves, right? They're breaking up through the pivot. Those are your waves. By the way, it would be also cool to take a look at the support levels too. Would you guys think? Like coming down here, boom, bouncing off. I mean, that's interesting too. Um, yeah. I mean, if we're choosing the resistance levels, this is the way I looked at it. We're probably going upward, an uptrend. Uh, you know, breaking these levels, it is resistance, meaning that it became resistance because we bounced off it and went down. Therefore, if we break above it, we're implying that there is a trend change here. And that's why we're using resistance because we could say, well, let's do it when it's breaking above support. And you could do that too. But you'll notice when it broke that downward, when it broke above S3, the support level, it did go higher. There's no doubt about it. But look at the trend. It wasn't defined as an upward trend yet, right? It's still making lower lows and lower highs. So be aware of that for sure. That's going down. Um, so park that in your minds. Let's just hit another one. Let's hit another one, and then I'll go through that. But here, look at this. So MSFT. How about the wolf waves here? Oh, we had drawn this out yesterday, but yeah, you would get on the scan here a break, a notification, and a notification. It really is cool because it does help to spot where the resistance is, or the prior highs is really what it is right there. You see it? Look at that. Went right above, we just gapped right to it. This one, we went right up to it and gapped above it. All right, well, let me share it. Oh, quick note, super quick. Over here, wolf waves, see the 10? We're looking at least a minimum of 10 bars between the pivot points. So in other words, they're kind of like bigger type moves. Now, it's oftentimes used on an intraday basis, but like this range over here, we're looking at, we have to have that 10 plus bars in between. So sort of bigger moves. And same thing over here with the support. Okay. But you could change that over here in the drop down, the input level. This is his script though, or her script. Yeah. Come down here, take a look at it. That is it. All I simply did was use the exact same thing and just added in a little bit of a scan to it. There was a couple of areas there, but we'll see what you guys think. Let's go over here to the scan, pull it up and share it. I'll just share it right from the get-go. And here we go. Wolf waves. And we'll share the scan. Okay. So again, let's see, wolf wave scan in this case. And so when we're talking about a scan, not an indicator, we know where to find this at. And that's going to be once we save it, and we've got to name it again so we can identify it. But come up here and go to load scan query, and then you'll find it in your personal folders here. Okay, that's where you find these guys, and boom, that's where mine is right there. Okay. All right. So there we go. And let's swap this out. Or we'll keep the hook in for a second. But now it's now a dynamic list. I'm going to scan it. Let's see what we got here. A couple things I've added. It has to be within 3 days. There's a look back in here. The look backs, I'm getting a little bit better with the look backs. At first, I kind of struggled with it, but there's a look back over here. This is just basically saying that we crossed above one of those levels over that time for any one of the resistant points. Let's go ahead and connect it. Go down here. Not public. And there it is. That's the key hint right there. If it's a dynamic watch list, right? If it's a scan we've saved, folks, you're going to find it right there. Wolf waves. Boom. Now let it load up. And we got it. So breaking above over the past 3 days. Now, if I wanted to do this, I can change this and it will update this too. Watch. If I come over here, we're getting about 81 out of the S&P 500 because there have been some breakouts recently. I mean, look at the S&P 500. There was a breakout there. By the way, I'll tell you a couple of things here. I'm going to knock it down just to 2. Well, actually, you know what? Forget it. We can look at a few, and then I'll actually drop it all the way down to 1 after that. But as I put it up here and I go through, I want to go intraday to show you a few things as well. Okay, within the past 3 days, did we start breaking above some resistance? This is Adobe. So another software company, maybe on the verge of breaking highs. Look at this. This is interesting. We did break above it in the last 3 bars, right there. Break it when I say above it, I'm meaning this one, or this one. So any of these designed levels, breaking above, creating that wolf wave, but we've got a little bit of overhead resistance. Now, the cool thing about the scan over here is it might pop off. Well, tomorrow, let's say if it goes over, it might drop off. If it goes down here, it's past 3 days, but it might show up again if we break above this one and above this one. It could show up again here, but it's identifying interesting levels of pivot sort of resistance that you can see are very interesting points on the chart and potential breakouts. Now, the scan itself, there's one thing that I did design in the scan, and that's this. It's got to be within the last 3 days, but it also has to be, I'm just going to draw this out. It's got to be greater than the resistance level currently too. So within 3 days, so plus minus 3 bars. It's a daily chart, but bars plus minus 3 bars plus it's currently greater than the resistance level. In other words, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it break up above resistance, give us the signal, and then by the time we look at it, we're already back below resistance again. Make sense? We want to see that it's actually holding the points. Okay, let's go through it ahead and take a look at some of the others in here too. Oh, Copart. These guys are off the bottom. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a pretty sharp move off the bottom. Breaking those levels. So a lot of times these wolf waves can be very, very sharp, potentially a stronger trend breaking up above. Now, I don't know if we look at this next week. If you guys have interest in it, we can do it. But I think this long-term trend line break was interesting here too. Notice it stopped right at that point. It is drawn off that level, but this break was kind of an early sign too of some movement right there. Wow, but that's been really, really strong in terms of Copart. John Deere's in here. Oh, interesting. So we just broke this one. So what is it telling us? What is it showing us to? We want to step back and just see. You guys are getting very, very good at looking at price patterns. I have to say, because I do see a lot of the comments, support and resistance. Excellent at that. I mean, that's part of, price patterns are really just made up of support and resistance levels. And of course, the magnitude of moves over that support and resistance, how those set up. But look over here. I mean, this is kind of like a sort of a measured move range. You get these highs up here, down here. Be very interesting if this were to, continue. By the way, it is actually an earnings announcement is what we're getting here. But you guys got it. You guys have them here. FCX. Oh yeah. Okay. Freeport-McMoRan. Now, what's interesting on Freeport-McMoRan? We can look at this because we did read through our commodity futures, right? But gold has been moving. Gold, right there. Slip it down and take a look at it. Look at gold. Now, FCX could be one of those that oftentimes might lag gold a little bit. It's copper and it's gold. That's Freeport-McMoRan. But it's on the verge of maybe taking out, and this is kind of an interesting indication. We just saw it on our last one here too. But look at that. Key resistance level, key resistance levels here. What are we saying? This is Riceberg's Darvas box. Kidding, Riceberg. No, he brought it up. We might do a Darvas box one too. They're fascinating. I'm totally fascinated by them, but that's a big rectangle right there after a giant move. Folks, that's like one of the stronger flags in a sense that we went sideways. If we break out of here, what did the Darvas box say? Darvas box said, this price, it makes it stronger. It has a stronger projected move. It's not mapping the bull flag off of the bottom, not this price off the bottom. It's mapping it off of the top. So we've got the regular flag, but also this range here too, added to it. There are some analysts out there that are saying gold is still in a longer term cycle. So we'll see if that does, unfold that way or what does actually happen there. But this is, I mean, we're really just choosing, some of these really interesting indicators out there, maybe making it a little bit more applicable to what we can do on the Thinkorswim platform, and that is scan for them. Folks, I hope you found this useful and informative. I like the fact that we can just see, even just the indicator by itself with the wolf waves in here, you get to see some really interesting levels on the chart. And are we close to it or not? Well, maybe that's where the scan comes in to help out. All right, folks. Do me a favor, if you did like it, smash that like button. Again, be sure to subscribe to our Trader Talk channel. Love to have you guys on board and have fun with this stuff and see what it can help you find out there in the markets. There's Coca-Cola and others. Oh, right at the very end of its resistance one. It's just been continuing to climb. And anyways, with that, interesting folks, have a great rest of the day. Thanks to you, Kevin, very much for your help in the chat. Thanks to our production team as always as well for helping us out behind the scenes, making sure that the show does run. And with that, everybody, you have a fantastic rest of the day. And I'm looking forward to my bike ride right after this. All right. Take care, all. See you next time.